done yet. I want to win a state championship. I want to bring a state championship back to Mandarin High School, and that's the goal this year. That's the goal next year, nothing less.
All gas and no brakes for Tramell Jones and the Mandarin Mustangs. Success is defined by one word for them over there on Greenland Road, and that's state championship. And speaking of Tramell Jones, there he is. It's Magic. How we doing today, brother?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing not too bad, but I mean, I'm not a highly touted high school quarterback that's going to go to play at Florida State, but we'll get to that in a second. First thing I want to talk about, man, is just, we just saw the video. We just talked about it. For you, it's state championship or bust.
Yep.
And you guys have had the team last year, got to the championship game, came up a little short, but this year, reloaded, ready to rock and roll, man. Just talk about where you are and just sort of all the progressions and the work you've been putting in this offseason. I
mean, it really started in January when we started winter conditioning. Really just getting those guys together, being consistent throughout the winter, then taking it into the spring, and then leaving in the fall. Last year, we were a little slow starting off in the winter, and this year we made a little bit more improvements.
It's cool because, when I talked to you last year, we just saw you in the video there, same mindset, nothing's changed. But one thing that has changed is that, when I talked to you back then, we had a lot of guys that we had our eyes on in terms of quarterback positions. Still do, and we'll get to some of them in a second, but, it's going to be all eyes on you, man. You're the QB1 for one of the top teams in the city, man. Just talk about, how does it feel to be, I'm sure for you it's not that big of a deal, but just talk about what it's going to be like coming into your senior season with all eyes on you.
I mean, I think I just need to be consistent. I mean, that's been the word of the year for me. I think consistency just carries you throughout everything you do, and consistency would just be the main thing going into it. I mean, with me being consistent, I think that'll just take the burden and the weight off my back, and then how everything will carry for itself.
Sticking with you for a little bit longer, but just talking about, just the team itself. I mean, you guys were loaded. You were loaded last year. Yep. You're loaded again. From a leadership standpoint, all you guys are close, so you really don't need to kind of blend or mesh, which is a great part, trying to make another run. But just talk about just the dynamic of the team that you guys have. I mean, of course, helps having a guy like Jamie French, but on both sides of the ball, you guys are locked and loaded.
Locked and loaded on both sides of the ball. Like you said, we have a lot of young guys, too. That are up and coming that we had last year that I think have grown mentally and physically. So I think that's going to be a big piece of us. I think we're physically gifted, we're smarter, we're faster, bigger than we were last year, and we've jived more as a team this offseason. So that just carrying into the offseason and then carrying into the end season, I think that'll just be great for us.
You said a word that I want to kind of pick on is gifted, talented. That's obviously what you are. We see you have the nice little comfortable fleece on here. That's what you get when you're, one of the top quarterbacks in the nation, which you obviously were, going out to Elite 11 and placing amongst those finalists. Just talk about the experience out there competing in the Elite 11.
It was a great experience. We got to talk about mind, body, and soul and how to connect all three of those things because they are three different things. Got to compete against all the top quarterbacks in the country. There were 20 of us. And it was a mind-blowing experience. Got to talk to Pete Carroll, one of the legendary coaches, and really just wanting to go out there and show what I can do against all the other quarterbacks.
I heard Pete Carroll called you a legend. A legend called you a legend. How'd that feel?
I mean, I feel great. I mean, after the first day, I remember he came up to me. He was like, "You had a great day. Love seeing you throw the football." And I was just like, dang, that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Sticking with that Elite 11 before we move a little further, just want to talk about, like you said, the competition. I mean, obviously, the Elite 11, it's the premier quarterback showcase in the nation. And obviously, you know what you can do. You know what you're capable of. We know your talents. Everyone in the city knows your talents. But to be able to go out there and compete amongst those guys, just talk about what that competition level was like. Because I got to imagine that there's some names that, all you guys are connected on social media. So there's some guys that you've seen. But to go out there and even best some of them, just how great does that feel and how much more confidence does that give you?
That's great because you get to put your skills on a national level, just not in the city or in the state. That competition was really high, but it was very friendly competition. We got to learn each other's backgrounds because we're all from different parts of the United States and everybody has their unique trait or their slang or anything they do around the country. I think it was just great to be able to be around those guys and jive and make relationships that can be long-lasting.
I'm going to say it because you can't and you shouldn't, so I'm going to protect you. But there was definitely some balls out there that you had that were some great passes that didn't turn into great catches. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going any further. But that shouldn't be a problem once you get out there to Tallahassee, which is your next stop. Obviously going out to Florida State for your official visit not long ago. Sticking on this for a couple minutes for a couple questions, but just talk about, Tallahassee in general? I mean, you're committed, you're locked in. We're locked in?
Yes, I'm locked in.
Just talk about going out to Tallahassee, you being their guy already, and how excited you are for that to continue.
Very excited. Committed April 1st, 2023. Been committed ever since then. I love Tallahassee. I love Coach Norvell. I love quarterback Coach Tokars. I just love everything about Tallahassee. I love the environment. I love the people in the facility. I love the tradition. I think this class is a championship caliber class. We're trying to bring a lot of guys in, be able to bring back a national championship, and that's the goal.
Talk about more on that, like you said, recruiting those guys, trying to get some of these Florida State guys. There's always been a pipeline from Jacksonville to Florida State, but it's not just the Jacksonville guys that you're recruiting. All you guys, like I said, connect on social media, and I love seeing how you guys kind of interact and say, hey, man, just come on over to Tallahassee, man. But, you're QB1. Obviously you're the most important position in sports, and your success is defined by what's around you. Let's talk about what that kind of recruiting has been like. You're recruiting while you're being recruited.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it today when we were at the Jax 7-on-7. You saw me talking to a guy who played linebacker. He's from Vero Beach. But just giving him that knowledge, telling him if you want to get developed and make it to the NFL, I mean, that's the place to be. If you want to get coached hard on and off the field, and you want to be around great people, be around a great brotherhood and win football games, it's the place to be. And then just recruiting Jacksonville, you got Solomon Thomas. I mean, we recruit everywhere around the country. We want the best guys in the country, and us for have the great fit. So.
One of your guys, Drake Stubbs.
Yeah.
I mean, he made some breaking news now earlier this week, man.
Yeah.
We got how's that pitch been for you? I know you've been on him.
I've definitely been on him. His brother goes to Florida State, so.
What are we doing?
I know, what are we doing, man? But his brother goes to Florida State. I've always been on him ever since he committed to USC. I was still on him regardless, and just like I'm on Jamie French.
Well, Jamie French is a whole nother story. We'll get to him a little bit later. But now I want to talk about the brotherhood that you just mentioned, obviously with Mandarin. But it's not just that; it's a brotherhood with all the quarterbacks here in town. I mean, we talked about it last year, that big crop of you guys. But I mean, even this year, we talked about it last year. Jacksonville's never really been a hotbed for quarterbacks. We just sent a ton of guys out. I mean, Colin Hurley left. We had Marcellus Tate over there at Fletcher, the guy that you know, Riley Trujillo out there in Bartram Trail. But it seems like guys are still here. Have you, obviously, Lachlan Hewlett out there in St. Augustine, Sebastian Broughton, who's even younger, out there in Fleming Island. Just talk about just how this sort of quarterback fraternity, if you will, in Jacksonville, how proud you are to be part of it, and how cool is it to see that changing as we go on.
I mean, it's a remarkable, outstanding thing I love to be a part of. Lachlan Hewlett, Sebastian Broughton, two great guys, two great quarterbacks. They pushed me to be better, to be honest. Seeing them on Friday nights play, I was just like, I might need to step up my game a little bit. But those guys are great. We had a lot of guys leave. I know I've talked to Colin before. I've known him since I was smaller. Always keeping me in the loop, always talking to me, giving me advice because he knows he's a little bit older. He reclassed, now he's at the college level, telling me what the college level's like, telling me how hard he has to push. I think those are just those relationships that you can work on and build on, and it can help you in the long run.
Absolutely. I mean, look at some of these highlights that we had up here. When you talk about a guy like Sebastian, who, I mean, he had a couple 70-yard runs. I mean, I've seen you move a little bit. I haven't seen you move like that. But when I see you move, you get where you need to go and you get down. But let's talk about, coming into this season. Obviously switching gears a little bit, just, about the expectation for you guys is championship or bust, obviously. But, going into this season, I'm actually the same question I ask every guy every year. I know you got games circled on your calendar, whether they're rivals or not, but there are definitely games you're looking forward to coming into the season. One of them, I'm assuming, is that season finale, which should be a good one for St. Augustine. You and Locke, two championship teams. Last time you guys get to go against each other. But just talk about, what other games are you looking forward to this season? Besides
St. Augustine, Creekside, week 1, I haven't beaten them in my whole entire high school career.
Oh, you want that?
Yeah, I'm 0-3. So I'm willing to do anything to win that game, no matter what. But Creekside, we play IMG. I mean, they're a top contender in the country, arguably #1 team in the country. So I think that we go there. We play Rockledge. They're from, I think, like near Cocoa area. They're out of town. And then St. Aug, I think those would be like the most exciting, the most thrilling games.
Awesome, man. We'll wrap this up. Just one last question for you, and it's something that I always notice is kind of a characteristic that all of you guys have is, you guys are so good. You know that you're good. You have everyone, whether it's digital or in person, telling you that you guys are good. But having this even kill attitude, this approach, even at the shortened Jax camp that we had on Friday, everyone's celebrating, and I see you just off to the side, kind of like, hey, we did it, that's cool. Where does that come from? Just talk about the humility and just kind of that even kill. Obviously, you need that to play the position of quarterback. But just talk about for you, like, where does that come from, and how do you keep that in an era where everybody wants you to be, out and about?
I think my dad just preached it to me ever since I was small. Just keep a level head, be humble. The job isn't finished. The job was not done. That's just a small 7-on-7. We didn't win a state championship. We can celebrate when we win. But you always got to have that guy on their team that just keeps a calm, level head, keeps everybody level and steady, and keep wanting to push for the next thing.
Well, I told you, I'm not going to try to recruit you to Georgia. Everybody knows I'm a well-documented Dog fan. So I'm going to let you stay in Florida State. Mike Norvell, I don't want any smoke. Appreciate you joining us, Tramell.
Yes, sir.